You know that feeling, right? When you're in a really high conflict situation and you do exactly what's asked of you. You meet the standard, you jump through the hoop, only to find out the hoop's been moved. It is so frustrating, it's completely exhausting, and it feels like a game you were never meant to win.
Yeah, that feeling. That's what we're going to dig into today. That sense that no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, it's just never going to be enough. Well, that whole experience, it has a name. And just knowing what to call it is the first crucial step to changing the entire dynamic.
And here it is, goalpost switching. It's exactly what it sounds like. The finish line moves every single time you get close to it. Now, this isn't just about someone being difficult or picky. No. This is a very specific pattern of behavior, and it's designed to make it literally impossible for you to succeed.
So let's call this what it is, an unwinnable game. Because in so many ways, that's exactly what you're in. But here's the good news. You don't actually have to play that game. Instead, what we're going to do is decode the playbook, so you can stop just reacting to every little thing and start actually strategizing.
Okay, so the very first step in countering any playbook is you have to learn to recognize the plays as they're happening, in real time. These aren't just random chaotic demands. They often follow these really predictable scripts. Let's take a look at some of the greatest hits.
Oh, this one's a classic. It starts with what sounds like a reasonable safety concern. Maybe they ask for a drug test. Fine, you comply, it comes back negative. But then, the demand shifts. Suddenly, it's not enough. Now they want hair follicle tests, monthly tests, a full-blown psychological assessment, a custody evaluation. You see the pattern? The demands keep escalating, but there are no new facts to justify it.
The word cooperate. It sounds so reasonable, doesn't it? But so often, it's used as a kind of blank check for them to just impose their own rules on you. You're told you need to be more cooperative, but when you offer a perfectly reasonable compromise, you find out that cooperative actually just means do exactly what I say, when I say it, and don't ask any questions. The definition gets changed after you've already tried to meet it.
And then there's the platform switching trap. First, they demand you only use email. So you do. Then you get accused of clogging their inbox. Okay, so they say switch to a parenting app. You do. Then you're accused of harassment for sending messages on the app. So you stop, and now you're disengaged and not communicating. The method of communication itself becomes the moving target.
And believe me, the patterns go on and on. The reason for denying parenting time will magically shift from a safety issue to the child's comfort to a scheduling conflict until finally it's just, you're being difficult. The notice you give is never quite right. A therapist's vague comment becomes an absolute roadblock. And even payments get twisted around to invent some new reason why you're suddenly non-compliant.
So how do you know? How can you tell if you're really dealing with this specific pattern and not just, a normal disagreement? Well, there's a pretty simple diagnostic you can run. And the key number I want you to remember is 3.
Okay, let's just do a quick check. Does any of this sound familiar? First, the condition for success is never written down, and it seems to change all the time. Second, when you do comply, it doesn't actually get your time restored. Third, do new problems and conditions mysteriously pop up right before a visit or a court hearing? Fourth, are the demands super vague things like show more insight or be more respectful? And finally, do these demands go way beyond what any court order actually says? If you found yourself nodding your head to 3 or more of those, yep, you are almost certainly dealing with goalpost switching. Okay, so you've identified the playbook. Now what? Well, you stop arguing and you start documenting. But listen, this isn't about just creating a data dump of 1,000 angry screenshots. We're going to build clear, simple evidence that tells a story a judge can understand in about 90 seconds.
This is the CCC method, and let me tell you, it is incredibly powerful. For every single time this happens, you create a simple 3-part story. Part 1, show the condition they demanded. Highlight it right there in the email. Part 2, show your compliance. Here's the certificate, the test result, the screenshot of the message you sent. And Part 3, show the change. Here's their reply with the new changed condition or just the flat-out denial. Condition, compliance, change. That's the whole story.
And this is how you present it. It's brilliant. You take those little CC stories and you plot them on a dead simple 1-page timeline. I mean, look how clear this is. Request, compliance. Goalpost move, denial with a totally new reason. It tells the entire story in seconds, and the impact is crystal clear. You missed your parenting time because the rules kept changing.
Now this is a powerful tool you can start using today to build your record. Whenever a new demand pops up, you send this one, calm question.
It puts them on the spot and forces them to define the finish line. If they agree, great, you've got a clear standard in writing. But if they dodge it, or deflect, or just refuse to answer, that refusal itself becomes Exhibit A that this is all a game.
All right, you've built your evidence, you're documenting the patterns. Now it's time to shift from playing defense to playing offense. And this means using very specific communication templates to shut down the chaos and making very targeted requests to the court for structure.
This basically becomes your new standard response. Just like that finish line question, it's polite, it sounds totally reasonable, but its power is in its repetition. Every single time a new demand is made, you calmly and consistently bring it back to this. You're not arguing, you're just building a record of their refusal to set a clear standard.
Now, for those demands that are way outside what the court has ordered, this template is your go-to. It's a calm, non-confrontational way of saying, hey, I follow the rules set by the judge. If you want to change those rules, that's fine, but we need to go through the proper channels to do it. It sets a really firm boundary without adding any fuel to the fire.
And when you do end up in court, you cannot just say, Your Honor, make them stop. It's way too vague. You have to ask for specific, enforceable structure. Ask for a rule that says no parent can just invent new conditions out of thin air. Ask for a very specific protocol for exchanges, time, place, grace period. And this one is crucial. Ask for a mandatory make-up time rule. It creates a real disincentive for them to cancel for no good reason.
You know, the most important point in all of this is that countering goalpost switching requires a fundamental shift in your mindset. You are no longer trying to win arguments. You are trying to win stability. You're not trying to prove that you're right and they're wrong. You're trying to make the path forward predictable and clear for everyone.
This slide right here really summarizes the entire strategic shift. You have to stop arguing about why they're doing it and just show the pattern. Stop using clinical labels like narcissist and just present the facts. Don't just dump a pile of evidence on the judge's desk. Tell a clear story with a timeline. Stop responding to every single little piece of bait. Only respond when a standard is actually changed. And stop asking for vague help. Ask for specific, boring, beautiful structure.
Ultimately, this whole explainer really boils down to one powerful idea. You can't control the other player, but you absolutely can change the way the game is played. By focusing on patterns, documentation, and structure, you take back control. The goal is no longer about being right, it's about creating a clear, stable, and enforceable path forward. So the only question left is, are you ready to change the game?